And then I am going to share my screen. Okay, and I am actually going to go ahead and do the little in-person person. All right, so you all should see me look like I'm all of a sudden in Blackboard. And I'm going to go ahead and click on our class. And things might be going just a little slow tonight. So we are still in the Introduction to Physics in Motion. And then we will be doing forces and energy starting next week. I just have not released it quite yet for everybody. But because we are going to kind of cover vectors tonight, we're going to cover a few things just so that folks have it. But if you open up our folder for what we're working in, you'll have to kind of scroll down and loading more content. But please, what I've been doing on the weekly surveys, I haven't necessarily been grading each individual question. I've been probably doing, I've been giving you an overall score. I've been giving you an overall score and then kind of giving general comments if there are general comments to be given. But what I have done is with this down here, now most of you, if you are looking at your Blackboard, might be a little blue dot that says something's been posted here. Because I've been the one doing the posting, I'm not seeing the blue dot, but if you guys were to post a question, I would see a blue dot, and that just says that there's a new response to this one. So this is what I'm hoping people will use these discussion boards here to actually look at the various questions that people have had. So we'll give it a second. We'll have it pop up. And you'll see that I have typed in a question based off of what people had asked on the prior weekly surveys. So there's been a common problem on the speed of sound or the speed of light, and then I show the reply so that you can see that common question. So I've been trying to do these types of things to get people to look at and actually post questions here. So when you first come across a question during when you're working on stuff, go ahead and ask the question there. I had one person say, hey, my calculator was giving me a different answer. And I was saying, okay, I bet you were not in the right units on your calculator. So give those background pieces of information that folks are in there. So several of you asked on the last weekly survey, hey, what about problem number 12 in the homework? And then under week 3 solutions and examples, there's the solution for problem 12. So I've actually provided you a solution and a link to where that is. So if you didn't run across it before, I will post that there. I had several people ask about calculating acceleration or instantaneous velocity or things like that. So I actually put together a short video on that, and I actually posted it in the questions, but I've posted it else in other places as well. So you've got those posts to everything. So please use these questions. That way I can, if you've got a question or if you've come up with a question it's likely that somebody else in the class has come up with a question, that same question as well. And some of them, because I've taught this long enough, I know the question is coming. And if I know the question is coming, you might want to look in helpful videos, examples, and solutions, because there may already be the example and solution that's already there. So in this helpful videos, I have given a review of chapters 1 through 3. So you actually have a review that's there. I've given example problems. I've given a review of homework problems on instantaneous velocity. So you do have a homework problem that's related to that instantaneous velocity. And I've gone through that one step by step by step by step in this one. I've got other ones that are there, and then I've got some other videos that we're looking at. So you've got lots of examples and helpful solutions. And sometimes I know, because I post a lot of stuff, that you just don't know where it is. And if you ask a question in that question discussion board, I may be able to say, well, go look right there. This is exactly what it's called. So that should help you out. So those are things that are there. So let's talk about what's due this week. So if you go back and you look at, again, just to remind everybody, if you hit the calendar function in Blackboard Ultra, the calendar will show up. My recommendation is to hit the month first. And you can see that tonight it was the pre-work for chapter 3 that was due. And then you've got your test or your exam is going to be due on Sunday. Your exam will open up at noon on Friday. And we'll actually talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But you can actually click on due. And then you'll scroll down to when it is due, and you can click on the assignment directly from the calendar. So if you're having trouble locating it, you can click on it directly from the calendar. So that just gives you a help to remind where things are, to keep things that are going in terms of what's due. Now, let's talk about the test real quick so that everybody will have information on the test. How I am doing the tests. The test will actually open up. So if you go, you have to download some more content items. It will open up noon on Friday, but when you click on it, what you're going to see, give it a second here. And you will start your attempt, and you'll open it up, and it is a PDF of the exam. I am not requiring you to print out the exam. That's okay. You do not have to print it out, but you'll need to open it and download it so that you have it. I want you to show all your work. It's open book, open resource. It's open book, open resource. So because of that, I am expecting you to use your resources. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Like for the first problem, we have done a laboratory associated with it. We've talked through it. I am expecting to see a nice graph as part of your response. So I'm actually expecting to see that material. I want you to upload a PDF of all your work, and I want it to be neat so I can find things and I can easily say which question goes with what problem. So again, it's open book, open resource. It opens up at noon. It is not timed, but it is due at midnight on Sunday, the 11th. And just to remind everybody that the Super Bowl is this Sunday. So my recommendation is to get it done before the Super Bowl, because I'm sure I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of people will be doing that, but it will open at noon, and you can go in, you can open it up, and your one attempt is to upload your document. I'm expecting everybody to do their own work, and they're like problems that we have discussed. So you should be able to get through that. So that's the exam. The other thing is, don't panic. Most of the exam is over chapters 1 and 2. There are no projectile motion problems on it. There are a couple of vector problems, but we're going to cover those kinds of problems tonight. So you shouldn't have any trouble with those particular vector problems. So you don't necessarily have to get all your chapter 3 homework done before you do the test, but I wanted to get this test out because we're at the end of week 4, and if I wait any longer, it takes too long. So a reminder about the chapter 3 homework. It's under week 3 assignments, and your chapter 3 homework is actually due on the 22nd of February. So we're still going to be working in chapter 3, and hang on, I got a chat and I will make sure that we've got. Oh, the one attempt is one upload in this case. So the one attempt is one upload. All right. So you got to upload. Now, if you run into an issue, and I know it's happened before, and you know, that you think you've uploaded it, and yes, this is how every exam is going to be, except for the final. The final actually is multiple choice inside of Blackboard, and you will have to upload all your work. And I just do that because it makes that final, because we have such a short time to grade the finals, that and you'll have a practice exam before the final, so you'll know exactly how that final is going to be.
Is the final timed?
I have it timed, but it's twice the time that you're normally allowed, so everybody gets 100% of the time. But I have to kind of keep it because of how things work. And for you guys, it's not going to be a big issue because we're not right up against another block of time for the final. You know, if you were in my in-person Monday, Tuesday class that's at 8 o'clock, you know, we've got those time slots so that people don't overlap a whole lot of finals. For you all, the final will open, I'll probably open it at 5 o'clock, and it'll have to be closed at 11 o'clock. So it's timed in that respect, but I set it up so it can be done in a 2-hour slot, and it has to be done in that 2-hour slot. That way you're not overlapping anybody else's time schedules. But everything, all my stuff is open resource, so that you've got that there, and it will be in there. We will be covering a couple more things because I want to make sure we got projectile motion, and I want to make sure we've got vectors down, because once we get that down, everything else goes a lot faster, and we want to make sure we've got those pieces covered. So just a reminder of where homework for chapter 3 is. Your other assignments are there. You've got your weekly survey as well for this week. And then I do have instructions for exam 1. So if you're afraid of opening that up, you can go in and look at it again. You know, it's got the instructions that I'm talking about here. And then again, I also have a review of chapters 1 through 3 under the helpful videos. So you do have those as well. Everything's moving incredibly slow tonight. Under week 4, we'll open this up. I've got homework problems with multiple steps. I've given you the introduction to vectors, and we've started with some projectile motion. We will talk a little bit about relative motion, and I will start that here in just a second, but I've also given you two different projectile motion videos. One is from the year prior, and then one is from last fall. So, you know, again, depending on how I gave the example, one may make more sense to somebody than another one. You don't have to watch both of them. That's up to you as to whether or not that will work for you. And as a reminder to everybody, let's go back here. You have two YouTube channels that I am out there with. If you click on the YouTube channels, I am trying very hard to upload our specific Zooms so that you all have them, because they will close caption on YouTube. So you do have those there. And for some of you, it's easier to go to YouTube. If you're watching it on your phone, it may be easier to go to YouTube than it is to try and work through Blackboard to get there. So you do have our Physics 1 Zooms as we have gone through things. I'm trying to also do a lot more descriptive. What is that video doing, so that you all have that? So like this one, I had a couple people say, okay, I must have missed that 10 minutes. You know, how do I order my IO lab? So there's that one in here. So I've got a few other pieces that are there, so you have those. So those are all in there. And then I have my historic Physics 1 lectures, where I've put in all kinds of Physics 1 lectures that are in there. Some of it's a mix. It's a mix of engineering physics, which will use calculus, but you know, one video may give you that concept that helps you out. So those are all there as well. So any questions about lecture materials that are due? All right, I'm gonna stop recording, and I'm gonna start recording again.